Okay, and we are on. It takes a little lag time, so. But hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to the after party. I see there's a lot of people in the chat right now. So it's me, Allison. I'm the producer. Hi, and Kevin Cotellese.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. And we were just talking about how amazing the turnout was for the audience to be here. And hopefully you weren't just watching it by yourself, but you were able to enjoy the show with friends and family, or at least family, right, in the COVID world that we're in. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, no big watch parties, but, at least everybody got to watch it with somebody, hopefully. And so we were just going to do like a little bit of a Q&A. So if anybody has any questions that they want to put in, I did prepare some questions. It's because, the chat goes by so fast. Hopefully I'll be able to catch them if you do have any questions. But let's just start with Kevin. First thoughts. How do you think it came out?
I have to say, I want to publicly thank Alison Wood again. She was the one that was behind the scenes and maybe in front of the scenes too, I guess, but putting this all together. And we could not have done anything from finding the platform to deliver the performance to all of you at home, to putting videos together and collecting. I mean, I was just saying to her before, I love those community hero messages. And she was the one that really made that happen. I think her along with Kathy, right? You guys were the ones that spearheaded that.
And Vivian and Allison helped reach out to some of the schools. So it was a team effort, but it was I'm glad we got that to happen.
Without your work, I mean, this we had all these great ideas, and to actually see really all of them come to fruition is pretty extraordinary. And also, I think Allison and I both would like to thank Nikki Brenner publicly. She was the one that did all the audio work. We all sent her our files, and she did the video work when we had those numbers where you saw the singers performing. So just, again, I think if I've learned one thing from this pandemic is you get to finally have to ask for help, and it's so nice to have people respond to that. I was sharing with the group early on in the process. I said, I think, for years, the Wilton Singers has been giving us this extraordinary gift. But I think right now the Wilton Singers needs our help, right, to make sure that this happens this semester. And so proud of everybody for all the work they did.
Yeah, it was definitely, it's, it was never going to be the same, obviously, having, not in-person rehearsals and all of that. And a lot of the work was, on your own, having to record your own, not hearing everybody around you. And so it's a really different experience. So, from what we're used to. And, it's really great that so many people were able to hang in there, because it was challenging sometimes. And I'm glad everyone stuck with it, because obviously it came out amazing. And I hope everyone that was involved is really happy that they did it, because it just came out so great. And definitely props to Nikki. She did an amazing job with the audio. Those videos came out amazing. Better than I even expected. They were just so great. She did such a great job with those.
So sorry, I didn't mean.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, so do you have any questions there for us?
Well, the only question that I noticed flying by was whether Tracy was wearing pants. So I don't know if we can answer that question. I don't know if Tracy's in the chat to answer that for us.
Knowing Tracy, probably not.
Probably not. It's fine. You don't have to wear anything on the bottom as long as you look good. I don't want to show you what the rest of my room looks like right now. So, it's all about the framing, So let's see. We have some good questions here. Let's see. So how was picking the music for this different than for a normal season? Did you look at the music differently when you were trying to pick out what we were going to do?
Yeah, I think if I could recommend to all my fellow choir directors, I think we've all gotten together and unanimously decided less is more. And so normally in a program, we'd have about 16 to 18 pieces. So tonight, obviously, we had fewer than that. But we wanted to also find the variety there so that the audience would enjoy the experience. And so you got to have everything from a swinging Christmas to Winter's Night. And of course, we're especially proud to have premiered the first Noel by Matthew Culleton, who wrote that for us actually last December. And so it was nice to sort of put that out into the interweb, as it were.
Yeah. So I'm just looking through the chat here. Let's see. So question. Oh, somebody asked who's Santa. Santa was Gordon. I'm totally blanking on how Bonnero. Is that how you say his last name? I'm so bad. I can't remember how to say his last name.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, so Gordon actually wasn't able to participate this season with us, but he's a regular member of the Wilton Singers, and so I reached out to him because he has played Santa for us in the past when we've done our holiday sing. So I reached out and I was like, hey, would you mind, meeting me in the center and walking around town, filming a few places? So I'm really glad you did that. I think it looked really great, and we had like a lot of different scenes, and she used them way better than I mean, like I don't even know what I thought she'd do with them, but it looked awesome the way that she kept cut back and forth between them. So I'm glad we were able to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Let's see, there was something else in here. Let me see. Oh, Brian said he was doing fine until the Jerry piece, Waterworks. That was such a hard piece to edit. It was so hard, just obviously when you're editing you got to watch things 100 times, and every single time I like started tearing up and breaking down. It's a tough thing to get through, but I'm glad we were able to put that together for him. We really miss Jerry. Kevin, I have a question. How did you teach the kids all day and then come to rehearsal with energy and motivation to share?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of my teacher friends and directors would agree that we get so much of our energy from all of you. So, coming to the Wilton Singers rehearsals is always an experience, right, to say the least. And I think you could see even in our greeting and our farewell message, as well as some of those outtakes, the group likes to have a lot of fun as well as doing some really extraordinary singing. I think I'm very lucky to say I have one of the best community choirs in the area, to say the least. And so I think it's just that passion that we all share for music, and it keeps you energized.
Okay. How did you do the special effects with Swinging Christmas? That was all Nikki, and she even said herself, she's like, I was having so much fun putting it together. I actually spent more time on it than I should have, but it came out so great. I mean, she did such a good job with those special effects. It just really, brought it all together. Allison, how'd you figure out how to do all this? I don't know, just trial and error.
Yep.
I was just iMovie and trial and error. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? So here's a good one. What will you take away from this experience in the post-COVID world? So once we're able to finally sing together again, what do you think that you learned from this that you'll continue to do, or maybe that you'll just that you'll take with you when we got to get back to normal, hopefully?
Sure. Well, so this was a little bit of a different experience, obviously. And in one of the ways it was different is that each singer was given a track where they would have somebody like yours truly singing, maybe not so great, but singing their part for them so that they could hear the ideas that would normally be rehearsed. So whether it's phrasing or articulation or dynamics, um, they would get to have that experience in a similar way. Whereas usually in a rehearsal, of course, we would uh, work through that together as a group. And I guess going forward, I think I would use that as a tool to help the singers reinforce what they worked on. Because the great thing about the Wilton Singers is we get together once a week. But the sad thing about the Wilton Singers is we only have that 2 hour period once a week to rehearse. And so everybody knows, it takes a little bit of time each week to remember, wait, what did we work on? And to get sort of that thing going and go like, oh yes. So, I can imagine, I think going forward for me, I would like to continue creating those audio files so that the singers would have that as a something to rely on, so that in between rehearsals they had the opportunity to sort of keep some of the ideas we had fresh in their mind.
Yeah, I think that was really helpful, being able to listen to it. You can listen to it as many times as you want. You just you can learn it just, through listening, which is, I
Exactly.
think a lot of people, it's easier to, you can even memorize it just by hearing it so many times. That's really helpful.
Absolutely.
So John Junis is asking, did the Wilton Madrigals also do a virtual concert? Is it possible to enjoy their singing some more?
Well, so they are, as you heard, some pretty extraordinary kids, and yeah, I consider myself very lucky to work with them. and we will present a virtual holiday concert from the whole music department. So stay tuned. We'll probably release that either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Um, and so, yeah, so as you can imagine, it was hard enough to get the adults to hand in videos and audio files in a timely manner. So you can imagine it's a little challenging with the kids too. So we're trying to give everybody as much time as possible to get those materials in, so we can put that together for them. So John, I hope things are going well across the earth there where you are now, and yeah, so I'll share that information with all of you.
Yeah, we miss you, John. Thanks for tuning in. um, so Tish Brubeck asked, he said, Chris observes and asks, the intonation was terrific, and was each individual performer their own critic and filter? How did you pull that off?
That's a great point, and you can hear one of the reasons we liked, or I liked, especially working with Nikki, and when we hired her, the thing I wanted to have was that natural sound, and we didn't want to do all that auto tuning and things like that because it sounds so artificial. And she understood that. She has a choral background, so she got that. And so, yeah, to your point, the singers had to be their worst critics. And so I think again having a voice singing their part with them probably helped with intonation, more so than just if they were on their own or even singing just with a piano track. But that to Chris's point, one of the big hurdles we all had to get over were the singers listening to themselves before they submitted the recordings to me or Nikki, and being okay with like what they sounded like, right? Because I'm sure all of us have had that experience where you hear yourself, even if you're just speaking, and you think, I don't sound like that. That sounds so weird. That sounds so terrible. And so you can imagine that was felt by the singers exponentially when they would listen to themselves recording. So we had we had some good talks about that whole process, and I assured them that it would be okay, and that the point of a chorus is what is it? The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right, or something like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it had a lot to do with that they were able to hear their part while they were singing.
Yeah. And it's funny, I actually, when we were doing the community virtual choir, I mentioned when we were putting it out there, just don't listen back to your track, because everybody hates what they sound like when they listen to it back. You're your own worst critic. You're just, oh, I could have done that note better. Oh, I could have done that one better. You could spend all day recording one song. So sometimes you just got to be like, you know what? It's all part of the process. It's all going to be part of the big group. I just got to let it go. Okay, let's see. Kathy asked, what was the hardest part of putting this production together?
That's a great question. And Alison, you'll be able to speak to this as well, but I suppose trying to imagine the end product so that you were preparing the singers and everyone involved to create what you imagined, right? And so, a lot of times in a rehearsal, and people that do theater, things like that, so much of the fun is you go in with an idea or a concept, but you allow for things to happen during the process that might change your direction. But in this circumstance, there really wasn't the time or the ability to do that. So I think the biggest challenge was just knowing, like, okay, the song has to sound like this right now, and it can never change. And it has to look like this, and that will never change. And so it was just sort of making those decisions back in late September, early October. I mean, I think we all, Alison and I, and a lot of people that helped us with the production, I think we had this pretty much fleshed out by the end of October, right?
Yeah.
So that would probably have been the most challenging. It was very, very front loaded, and then it was a little low, and then it was crazy the last couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah. And I think that that's part of the challenge, I guess, with anything you do, but especially with something like this, is you have to make a lot of decisions early on that maybe don't necessarily pan out later on. Like you make this decision of, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then you go on and you're like, you know what, this isn't really going to work this way. We got to rework it a little bit, but you've already committed to doing it a certain way. So that's kind of the challenging thing of kind of both being able to roll with the things that you can't do exactly the way you wanted to, and also having to kind of commit to a way that you're doing things really early on, because you have to get it out there that this is what you're doing. And and you get further into the process and you're like, wait a second, that maybe this isn't exactly what we want. So you kind of have to like rework little things. So but I think that happens really with any video production. So that's kind of the thing that's different about this, is really having to like commit to the way that you're doing things, because you have to ask for all the components so you can put them together. So I think that was kind of the hardest thing, was kind of trying to adapt as things went on. All right. Well, I think that's about all the time we have. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us and asking your questions, and for coming to the show. I mean, it was so much fun, and I'm really glad we got to do this together, and that we had this opportunity to actually do it kind of live, so that we could, communicate and enjoy it together. Kevin, any last comments?
Just thank you all, members of the choir, Allison, members of the production team, everybody involved. Just what a wonderful gift for the holidays, right? It's sort of the best Christmas present ever, right?
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that starting later tonight, you'll be able to go to YouTube, and you'll be able to rewatch that if you want for the next couple weeks, Allison?
Yeah. So I sent the link out. Everyone should have received it either earlier today or right now after the show. I sent it out again, and that's so that you can rewatch the show as many times as you like. It'll be up until New Year's Day, and then we'll remove it. So if you want to rewatch it, it'll also be available. If you have friends that didn't get to catch it, we're going to be having selling tickets for just the YouTube version for the next couple of weeks. So if you have any friends that didn't get to see it, you really want them to see it, then send them our way. They can get tickets at wiltonsingers.com. Let's say starting tomorrow, because we do have to reset the website and everything.
So check your email. Those of you that purchased the ticket, you'll get an email to the same address with that information that Allison just shared. And shameless plug, donations are greatly appreciated, and hopefully you're all feeling giving this holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
yeah.
most importantly, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a healthy, happy, and safe end to the holiday season, and on to a better 2021. So
yes, let's hope. All right.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Goodbye. Thanks, everybody. Okay.